So I'm going to work on a proof of concept, and not really a proof of concept, but I'm actually going to build a wine wall rack underneath the stairs, going to our lower level. I'm going to try and make it out of maybe 4x6 wood posts. It's going to be about 10 feet tall in some areas, and then it'll kind of taper down at the angle of the stairs. And then the width, I'm going to do about 26 inches width in between, enough to fit 2 bottles of wine in there. Each bottle of wine is roughly 12 inches. They recommend 14 and a half inches or so of space to fit the bottle in there. But I've seen somebody make one that's 26 inches width in the middle, and that fits 2 bottles of wine perfectly. Now for where the bottles of wine are going to be sitting, I'm going to use electrical conduit, because that's some of the cheapest, least expensive way to do it. And I think if I paint it a nice black, it'll look good. So we'll see how it turns out. Okay, so I'm trying to avoid this one. This is so warped. And also trying to avoid boards that have this sap right here, or like a lot of knots, kind of like this one's. This one will be a little bit smoother. These ones aren't too bad. So I just came back from Home Depot. I bought a bunch of this wood to make the wine rack. These two are 2x6 by 16 feet long. And I will show you why it's 16 feet long. Because I need to fit it in a long stretch. But most likely I'm gonna have to cut it in half, because I don't think it's gonna go through the door. But anyway, that's that. These are 4x6 by 10 feet, and there's 3 of them, and I'll show you where those are gonna go. And then over here, I picked this stool up. These are just 1/2 inch conduit. They're 1/2 inch by 10 feet. I'm gonna cut those to be, I think, 28 inches long. I'll cut holes on these on each side, so the 1/2 inch tube will go about 1 inch inside on each side, giving me 26 inches, which will be perfect for 2 wine bottles. So 1/2 inch conduit, these pieces of wood. I'm still gonna have to buy more of these, but I'm gonna wait until I figure out what sizes I need, so I don't go buy a 10-foot one when I only need like an 8 or smaller piece. Yeah, let me show you where they're gonna go. Okay, so this is our main area. Now we have stairs going upstairs, and then back here we have stairs going down. So the idea is that this whole wall right here is gonna be the wine wall. Conveniently, there's already a 5.5 inch space right here, which is where I'm gonna put the 2x6 board. It's gonna go all along that whole bottom piece. And then the 4x6s, the 3 of them that I got, one of them was gonna go up against the wall here, about 26 inch spacing. Will go up here and then over here. And that'll give me this area. And then I'll have to measure and see how many more I need and the heights. Once I finish this and get this going. But since this is 5.5, I'm going to have about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 spacing in the back where that lip is at. So between each 4x6 in the back, there's going to be a space. That's going to be so we can put the LED lighting, so the whole thing will be backlit. Also, eventually I'm going to put doors on them, like glass doors, and we're probably going to have to refrigerate it, so we'll put a refrigeration unit right here. The other side of this wall is a garage, so that unit will go in the back. And with the doors closed, with that 1/2 inch gap in the back, we'll have the airflow go to all of them. So the 2x6 will go on the floor, and then here will be the 4x6. But at the top, I'm also going to have a 2x6 going here, and all the way down there. So it'll be kind of like a frame all the way around. And I'm going to mount the 4x6s onto the 2x6s front and bottom. So there's not going to be any need for me to mount them to the wall, because it's going to be mounted on the roof and the floor all the way along. So yeah, this is the area where the wine wall is going to go. So let me take some pictures for before and afters. Super excited. I just had a planer delivered to me. I got the DeWalt. Okay, I'm gonna make my first cut pass on one of these woods on the planer. Fortunately, I just got this. I don't have a table, so again, I'm back on the floor, even though I have that bench back there. However, at 16 feet, I will not be able to put the planer and then feed the wood through it. But anyway, here, let me show you. So, my hose, the rigid shop vac, this does not meet with this. It's the exact same size, so will not go on this. So I have to use some tape to keep it together. So I'm going to have to get an adapter to be able to fit this in here. Anyway, here we go. Let's make the first pass. Okay, so I put the piece of wood in there, cranked it down, and as you turn the wheel, this little gauge will tell you how much it's going to cut off. I'm going to start at 130 seconds, I guess. So yeah, that's where I'll set it at. All right, so I did about 130 seconds and looks pretty good. I'm still gonna do it a little more, so it'll clean it up and straighten it, but it's looking a lot cleaner. It was like this, now it's looking like that. So I'm gonna do probably 2 or 3 more passes. Okay, I did 2 more passes and it's looking pretty good. Very clean and smooth. So now I'm gonna do passes on the top. So the final on the 3 or the 4-inch side, which is supposed to be 4.5, if it's truly, I guess I should have measured it, but if it's truly 3.5 instead of the 4, then I took off an 1/8, because that was a final setting right there. So I am at 3 inches and 3/8. Not, or yeah, 3/8. Okay, so just for reference, last night my phone died, so I was not able to video the rest of it, but I did the sides, and I did 2 passes on each side, and the setting for the 6-inch side came out to 5.5 exactly. That's how big it is. So I'm gonna leave it at that, 5.5 for the big side. So I'm gonna start planing the other ones to match this one. Okay, so I got the floor beam on. I planed it, cut it to length. I'm still gonna need to sand it a little bit in the back and finish it a little more. But this piece was 184.25 inches long from there to there. And then on this end, I just had to kind of match the angle, but it was kind of hard because this angle is not a straight angle. But anyway, that's gonna work. So yeah, I was able to get a whole piece without cutting it in half through like this weird turn. But yeah, so this is gonna be it, the bottom. Now I need to go and do the top. And then once I get the top done, I need to kind of figure out what the measurements are going to be between the floor of this and then the top part over there. And then I need to cut the 4x6s to the height of that, you know, to be able to fit them in. So since this is done, I'm just gonna leave it here for now. Go cut the other pieces, but I guess I need to measure and see how long I need to make this top piece. Okay, so the first 2 posts are there. Oh wow, that's crazy. So on the top, there will be another one going all the way down there. And then this is 26 inches apart. So I'll hold 2 bottles. And there will be 17 racks times 2. What is that? 34 bottles. 17. Yeah, right. 34 bottles of wine in one of these. And then however many more will fit over there, which most likely will be 1, 2, 3 more. So 34. But that'll be less over here, obviously, because it's going down. But anyway, it's the first 2. I'm gonna continue until I get all of them. All right, I just finished sanding this guy right here. I went with a 60 and then a 120, and I'm about to stain. This is gonna be the bottom part, the sill. I don't know if you can tell. Well, the lighting is not that good, but let's sand it, and that's without the sand. Looks pretty good. All right. So I'm about to stain it, some Danish oil, wants to finish natural. Just gonna apply it all over and then let it dry. Okay, does anybody else's shop look like this? I have all my boxes, wood all over the floor. I mean, I really don't have space to work anywhere, even though I have a garage-sized workshop. I really need to build myself a rolling table to be able to work with long pieces of wood. Anyway, I'm spending most of my time on the ground here. So, let me bend over. So these 2, this one and this one, are this is going to be facing forward, and then this side is going to be facing forward, like out when you look at the wine rack. So in between these 2 columns right here, from the back, I went 3/4 in and then 1 inch up from the bottom to start this. And then from there, I went from the edge 3 1/4 and then 1 inch up from the bottom. And then that 2, there'll be 2 of them here. The width between those 2, what does it come out to? Let's see. From edge to edge, it's 3 1/4 about, and then from center to center is about 2 1/2, 2 and 5/8, something like that. But yeah, so but in between the 2, it's only about 1 1/4 inches. So the wine fits perfectly in there. Okay, so I mean the first 4 holes, I went ahead and marked all the corners where the holes are going to go. So I marked these 2, and then all I'm doing now is putting the tip in the corner, straighten it, and then it creates a divot where this guy can go into. So now I can just put it right on the divot, strain this, and then start drilling. And I only go till the tip of this right here, and that's about 1.25 inches or so, or 1.5 inches. So I only need about 1 inch for the tubes to go in there. Okay, man, my back hurts from bending over so much. So I did the first one. So yeah, now I gotta do the next one, and the next one will have holes on both sides. Okay, so the way I'm marking this is from the edge, I'm gonna go 1 inch up, 3.25 inch from the side, and then from the side I'll put a square and then do 3.25 over here, and then I'm just gonna go 5.5 inches and mark that all the way to the top. So this is gonna be the edge piece, so only one side needs holes, the other side needs holes on both sides. So I'm gonna do it here, flip it over, and do it on the other side. Okay, I just wanted to mention, you might get a little bit of blowout at the edges. And one thing I've noticed is that I have this kind of self-drilling, self-guiding drill bit right here. It pulls when you go in, and let's see if you can see it. But as you start going in, here, let me do this one. It'll split the wood. Like, it'll kind of, see that crack? It creates a crack as that tip goes in. So once you start drilling, well, if you go faster, it won't do that. So I just messed this one up. So I would get a different type of Fosner bit, the one that doesn't have like the self-drilling one. I think that would work better, but that's what I had at the shop for the size that I needed. So I'm going with that. And then I'll just fill this cracks with glue and some of this sawdust. Anyway, just so you know. Okay, I started cutting the pipe to 28 inches roughly. So what I'm doing is just, I made the mark. So in between here is 28. So I'll take one of these. I'll set it down, put it at the edge, and then start cutting right here with the grinder. So, yep. I got a few going. I got 2 more. I have to go to a Home Depot and get another one because I was short 1 tube. Okay, so after I cut the tubing, I sanded it with like a 60 grit, and then I just did a black spray paint with the primer, 2-in-1. So I'm putting one side in right now, and then once all of them are in, I'm gonna try and adjust them and put them all into the holes, and we'll see how that works. Okay, so that's the finished wall. Today we're getting 4 frames posters to put up here. They're like wine related, kind of patents. And then at the bottom will be a cork holder. So when we open a bottle, we can put the corks in there. But yeah, that's it. That's the finished product. It took exactly 7 days. Lots of work to get this done. Some LED lighting in the back. Yeah, so that's just hooked up down there on the outlet. Has a remote for it. It can fit 126 bottles. Now I did the math, and for all the materials, the wood, the sandpaper, the conduit, the spray paint, the stain, all that, it was just shy of $600. So this whole wall for under $600. Now I did use a table saw, and I did have to buy a planer to get these 4x6s nice and smooth and square. Get rid of that bevel edge, now it's a sharp edge. Yeah, same thing with the framing around it. So if you account for that, that's an extra like $1,200 that you need to pay for. Drills, drill bits. Oh yeah, oh, the LED lighting. Yeah, so shy of $600 to build this whole thing. Materials, which is for 126 bottles. So that's a lot less expensive than going to buy those wine racks that you can get, you know, online. But anyway, here it is, finished product. I think it came out pretty good.